Macmillan Audio presents The Art of Clear Thinking, written and read by Hasard Lee. This book is dedicated to the warriors of the year who have sacrificed their lives for their country and the pursuit of excellence. Nickel on the Grass. Introduction. As a fighter pilot, one of the things you get used to is always being seconds away from a fiery death. You're balancing on a razor's edge of performance where the success of each flight hinges on the accumulation of thousands of correct decisions. It only takes one wrong move for a flight to end in catastrophe, which, unfortunately, has happened often throughout our history.
To give you a sense of the speed at which these aircraft can fly, let me share a story from my time flying an F-16. I was stationed in Korea, and there was a jet coming out of maintenance. The engine had been swapped out, and they needed a pilot to ensure it was airworthy. It was a clean jet. None of the typical missiles, bombs, targeting pod, or external fuel tanks were loaded. In effect, it was a stripped-down hot rod capable of its theoretical maximum speed. When we fly, we usually go out as a formation to work on tactics. Every drop of fuel is used to prepare for combat. This mission, however, called for me to launch by myself and test the engine at multiple altitudes and power settings, with the final check being a maximum speed run, where I was to push the aircraft to its limit. After I took off, I entered the designated airspace over the ocean and quickly ran through the various engine checks. Topped off, I could only carry 7,000 pounds of fuel, which is never enough with the giant engine behind me burning tens of thousands of pounds of fuel per hour. If you look at an F-16 from the side, you can see that it's all engine. The structure is built around it, with the pilot sitting atop it at the front. After 15 minutes, I had finished all the checks except the last one, the max speed run. I was at 25,000 feet when I pushed the throttle forward until it hit the stop. This was full power from the turbofan. Fighter aircraft, though, have an additional power source called afterburner. To enable it, I rotated the throttle outward, allowing me to push it along a separate track. This activated all the boost pumps in the fuel system, which began pulling fuel at a rate that could empty a swimming pool in minutes. This fuel, however, wasn't fed into the engine, but rather, like a flamethrower, injected directly into my exhaust and ignited, creating a 30-foot flame out the back of my aircraft. I could feel the surge and thrust as it pinned me to the back of my seat. I quickly accelerated past Mach 1, the speed of sound that Chuck Yeager famously broke in his Bell X-1. I then began a climb, and within seconds 35,000 feet went by as I continued to accelerate. Soon I was at 45,000 feet, and I began to shallow my climb to arrive at the 50,000-foot service ceiling. This was as high as I could go, not because the jet couldn't go higher, but because if the cockpit depressurized, I would black out within seconds. Looking out of the canopy at 50,000 feet, the sky was now noticeably darker. I was above most of the atmosphere, and I could see the deep shade of indigo above me slowly transition into the ice blue horizon. The curvature of the earth was also clearly visible as it bowed across my field of view. To my right, I could see the entire Korean peninsula, green with a thin layer of haze over it. To my left, a few clouds over the Yellow Sea separated me from mainland China. As I maintained my altitude, the jet continued to accelerate. I was now at Mach 1.4, over 1,000 miles per hour. I only had a few minutes of fuel left, so to increase my acceleration, I pushed the stick forward and started a dive. Through my heads-up display, I could see Mach 1.5 tick by, backed up by an old analog airspeed gauge in front of me, slowly winding clockwise toward the red never exceed limit. At Mach 1.6, the jet began shaking. The extreme stress of the air resistance, over 300 times what a car experiences at highway speeds, began causing the aluminum alloy wings to flutter, sending vibrations throughout the plane. They were rapidly increasing at a rate that wasn't sustainable to the airframe. Aviation. To make an aircraft fly is a constant struggle against physics. An airliner traveling 600 miles per hour at 30,000 feet is not something that happens naturally. It's not a fail-safe act.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?